future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Hello, welcome. This is Kristie. I am so excited you're joining us today, and we have a very special guest today, a dear friend of mine. Her name is Hemalayaa, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her. Hemalayaa has been known as the Bollywood Queen for her fitness DVDs and has been a facilitator and teacher of yoga and dance for over 17 years. She's an empowerment leader, teacher, and speaker, the creator and founder of the Enlightened Lifestyle Programs and Kundalini Dance-Yoga practices, and has been featured in numerous international publications and television shows. She also hosts her own TV show, BollyWoodBlast, bringing fitness to a whole new level of fun. Hemalayaa tours internationally, presenting at many yoga and conscious festivals. Hemalayaa provides tools to experience a balanced state of being, true self-acceptance, and a passion for life. She works to inspire and motivate many to live healthy and joyful lives. That is absolutely amazing. I am so honored on the show today. Thank you for being here.
How fun.
It's amazing. And I actually forgot to bring it. We were talking on Saturday, and Hemalayaa has been we've been friends for about 18 years.
Yeah.
We were 3 years old when we met. We were only
Yes,
21,
exactly.
right?
We were only just babies.
And this show is so much about empowerment. And for me, you're such an inspiration. You've been empowering the masses, empowering women. And what is so exciting, we met actually 18 years ago during the Artist's Way workshop by Julia Cameron. And it's been a crazy and intense and wild and fabulous journey since then. And what I actually wanted to bring today was my journal from that class. I still have that journal.
Did you bring it?
No, I forgot.
Oh, bummer.
I could put up a digital version of it.
Okay, great.
Put that on there. There it is.
Yeah, perfect. I had this special Kristie journal that we used for that class, and I still have it with my notes. And I remember writing a letter to you that was dated 10 years into the future, where we talked about the dreams that we had and what we wanted to manifest and where we wanted to be in 10 years. And it's interesting. I read it the other day, and it's so amazing because we were even talking about where you wanted to be. So that letter was kind of like back and fro. Where does Hema want to be? Where does Kristie want to be in 10 years? And it's so amazing how you're actually doing pretty much everything we talked about in that letter.
Oh my gosh.
Traveling the world, inspiring the masses. So tell me a little bit about, because when I met you, you were an actress mainly, and now you're doing empowerment. What inspired that journey for you?
Well, let's just say a lot of personal healing. So it went from me, being an actress and being, having a creativity around it. I really liked that artist path. But there came a point where in my personal development that I was like, I don't want to be anybody else now. Like, I don't want to pretend to be anybody else. I also don't know if I want to be myself. So let me find out who myself is.
That's incredible.
So really that's where my journey began. And that's where we met at that time. And I had just started getting into yoga practice as a way to deepen my own self-development and searching and seeking, and I had no plans on, becoming a teacher or a coach or a guide or anything like that. It just sort of happened, I guess, just because I kept going, I kept doing the work and clearing the things, and I am so no master at all at this point. I just noticed that we just need to keep clearing. I just need to keep clearing and keep doing the work and unlayering and
So what I love about that story is that you actually started that work for yourself, for your own healing, for your own personal journey, and then it turned into something much, much bigger.
Yeah, and I think that is a lot of people are finding that now is they're finding the places where they're wounded or there's trauma or there's, just places of unawareness. And so when they find that awareness, there is a longing then to share that with the rest of the world. And I think women especially, and that's, who I speak to mostly directly, is women. We want to help. We want to create a world that is filled with peace, love, and ease, and so on. So I think that a lot of us are on this path of, okay, well, let me see how, what it feels like if I'm more aware, if I'm aware of this now. Oh my gosh, okay, now let me deepen that. Let me see how else I can do the least harm while I'm here on this planet and the most good.
Yeah. And I feel it's so interesting that you're really talking about the women. And I feel that there is such a group consciousness about, the masculine and the feminine. But let's talk about the feminine because of who you are and what you radiate in this world. And your family is from India. And India has a very specific consciousness when it comes to the feminine. Right? Were you raised with that consciousness? Because you were raised in Canada, but were you raised with that very Indian female consciousness?
Yeah, that's a very good question because there's different. Okay, so I'm going to only just speak for my family. So we are Punjabi Sikhs. So this from Punjab is in the northern state in India, and I will say that the females are the bosses of the family, and in the family,
like to the Germans.
In certain cases, though, I think they're the real bosses, and then there may be like the men that think that they're the bosses, but the females run the family. It's very very much matriarchal, but there's a lot of place of dysfunction in there too. So it's a hard question to answer. I was raised still with I'd say my uncles and my father, being much more of the leaders of the family. Yeah. And the women kind of like, wait, we have a voice too. But then came out. Yeah. So I think that was my role in this particular lifetime, is to pioneer and break out of that. So I chose to be untraditional, and when we met, I had already left the family, at the age of 18. And I think if I had stayed, there would have been a pressure or a expectation that I would get married with someone that they knew and so on at a younger age. The good news is that I was brought up in Canada, and so I got to break free of that. So I think that things are changing now, and it depends on where we were raised and so on. But there's a lot more freedom, possibilities now. And I think that that's what I'm speaking to and for the women, to know that no matter what culture you come from, no matter what expectations are on you, no matter how your voice has been shut down, you do have a choice. Yeah. You get to choose.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. And it's interesting because I was born and raised in Germany, and Germany has a very specific group consciousness when it comes to the feminine and the masculine. Yeah. And if you think of the history of Germany, the women went through 2 wars back to back pretty much, where the masculine wasn't there to support. So German women are really self-sufficient. And when I came to the U.S. and a guy would take me out on a date and offered to pay for me, it's like, what do you mean? Because in Germany, you split the bill. Yeah. And for me, that receptiveness of the feminine was a big thing that I have to shift. And I still have to shift it, because I'm like, you're really taught to be independent, to be able to take care of yourself. And don't take help from anyone. You can do it all by yourself, and to actually change that consciousness where you become able to go, that is the consciousness of that country, or like one of the consciousness of that country that many people carry. But I do have the ability to shift it. And what am I choosing for my path? Yes, I can choose to be like that and go like, I'm going to live my whole life like this, or actually shift that whole consciousness of, stepping back into the divine feminine. And I feel that's what's kind of happening worldwide. There is a surge, and I see it in the women, but I also see it in the man, to claim back our divinity, to claim back the divine feminine, to claim back that divine masculine, and come from a place of empowerment, come from a place of equality, where it's not like, okay, we're in a patriarchy where the men have the control, or in a matriarchal society where the women run the show.
We're walking side by side. Yeah, totally. And I actually wanted to speak to also the cultures that the women didn't ever think that they had a voice, because yours is that you were like, we are the, we got this. We're going to take control. We're the independent. Yeah. And so the culture that I come from, it was more, we need to be saved by a man. So that, and I'm speaking to, I bet, a lot of women out there that we have this belief that a man is going to come and save us one day. And as independent as I have been, and took those steps out of the home at a young age, and then moved across the country by myself with, my big story is like $50 in my pocket. That's what I had. Canadian, not that. Would not be worth a lot these days at all. But I was running that show, that like inner save me mentality. So that held me back from building a business or saving money, or because I had this like, one day, my knight in shining, my man is going to come and save me, and I'm going to be saved. And so that one took me a long time to really like break free from, because we have these stories running. Yes. We have these ancestral lineage cords that are running, and part of my work is, let's cut those cords and be the empowered full woman that we have the capacity, potential to be, separate of the voices of our mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, great-great-great-grandmother, and so on both sides, not just the mother side, but the father side too. So I loved hearing that about, the way that it manifested for you in your culture, because, like we have all spectrums of these stories running, and we have no idea.
Yes. Yeah. So you were the rebel of the family, in a way.
Certainly is the rebel of the family. Totally.
Yeah. And it's very interesting when you share your story about waiting for the knight in shining armor to come and save you, because we're looking at the media, we're looking at the movies that have been out. And I'm talking especially about some of those Disney movies like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, where it's imprinted into little girls like, hey, you need to wait for your knight in shining armor to come and save your life. Right. And what I'm actually loving, I saw Mallanna last year. I actually went with the Sunny Chase, who had the show before us. And we were blown away by that movie. I loved it. And we looked at each other and we're like, finally a movie that empowers little girls, because it's about this girl who's the daughter of the chief. And everybody wants it to kind of, like our ancestors, these have been our traditions, and this is how we're going to live our life, and this is how we're going to run the island.
Oh, I just got shivers. Whew.
Yeah. And then there's a plague that hits the island, and it's actually the heroine that goes against the traditions, against the group consciousness, and against everything that's been epigenetics, that's been running in our DNA. Yeah, John just pulled up the video.
Oh, cool.
That's Mallanna.
Yeah.
She's really cute.
Awesome.
And kind of how we've been running our lives, because it's been done like that for so many generations. And it's literally the heroine who doesn't wait for the prince to come and save her or save the island. And it's not the father, it's not any of the other man on the island, it's the female, the girl that has that inner faith of, I can do this. And she does it with so much joy and love and self-love. We were both sitting there looking at each other, like, that is amazing. You need to see this movie, I bet 3 more times or so.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, right now, of course that movie would come out because it's time. Like, that has been my feeling for this last whole year. And then we've got this huge women's movement, with what's been going on, and women stepping up. And it is time for us to step forward now and be on path, be on mission, and be a big benefit to the positive impact that we can have here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not time to be shy anymore, ladies. It is
No.
time to rise, rise. Yeah.
And you brought something up earlier, and I just want to go back to that, how we're running our stories through epigenetics, or because our ancestors have lived that story. And I studied family constellation therapy a while ago, the German version by Bert Hellinger, and he talks about how we often take on the story of our mother or father in order to honor the ones who walked before, in order to understand them better, in order to actually show our love, no matter how good or how bad the situation is or the relationship is. And one of the things he talks about is honoring our ancestors by walking our own path. Not honoring our ancestors by walking the same path, but actually creating a life that is so filled with joy and love and fun, and actually saying, this is how I'm going to honor you, by creating the best life that I can create for myself. Have you found that true for yourself too, that this is one of the journey that you as a seeker have been walking?
Yeah, will you say that last bit again? I want to hear that again.
It's the journey that you as the seeker of self-love, the seeker of self-empowerment and empowering others have been walking.
Yes. Yeah. It's so funny. It's almost like I don't have anything to say to that, because you're stating it as a statement, and it just feels so true for me, you know, that that we have, every one of us has the opportunity to choose. Oh, here's something I've been getting lately. Okay, so I've been getting this strong message. Okay, so we've heard this being said before, is that when we say I am rich, or I am beautiful, or I've been getting like a real experience of this particular statement. It's not just a statement. It is absolutely a choice.
Chills.
Yeah, and that's what I've been feeling every time. So this last, something's happening right now, I feel, with our planet anyway, is like this last year, it's like really hearing ourselves, knowing that we are that. So here's where it started for me, because I've been one to be very shy with my voice for singing. I can speak all day long. I could dance all day long. I can speak while I'm dancing all day long. But the singing for me has been a real fear in public, and there's there's some fear around it. So the other day, like about a month ago, I just all of a sudden went, like, I heard the inside of my being go, oh, I am a singer because I say I am. Like, we really are just what we say we are.
Yes.
Because if you have the thought, if you have the feeling or the desire, and then you follow it with the statement, I am. I mean, there's so many books, right, about, like, there's so many things about it, but there was, like, this now knowing that is true. I am a singer because I say I am.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. This is amazing. This is so beautiful.
I am a pioneer. I am separate from my family because I say I am. I have the choice of being a powerful, empowered, inspired, loving, kind, beautiful, rich, powerful again, and loving and in partnership, blah, blah, blah. All the things that I know that I have in my cells, I am those because I am saying it, or I'm saying it because I am those, it's like there's like the same thing. But I've been really getting that. So if I could just speak to the audience for a second, and you, like all of us right now, is like, if we could just take a moment and close our eyes and see within ourselves, like, what are those things that have been percolating that we've been perhaps shying away from? Like, for me, it was that singing. It was like, oh no, I can't do it outside of the shower, or I can't do it outside of my bedroom, or whatever it is. if it's a partner that you desire, if it's relationship that you desire, if it's love that you desire, if it's serving here in a powerful way, if it's being an artist, whatever it is, see that now. Feel it in your belly. Feel it in your cells. Every cell in your body is like the sun itself. You know, imagine that sun, how powerful it is. So every cell in your body is the same thing. So have that feeling of every cell in your body right now and say the thing that it is. Say the thing that you are. So for me, I am a singer because I say I am. That's it. That's how simple it is.
I can feel this in every single cell of my body. I have the feeling my cells are shining. This was so beautiful. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I had to go in there because that was the only way that I could answer your question, because I was like, I can't, there's no like, yeah, anyway, so good. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Thank you. Are you feeling it, John? Oh, that's beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah, and I have to tell you about that. I am. So I've been on this seeking path for like 20 something years, and I have read about it. I have seen about it. I have heard about it. Oprah's talked about it. Everybody's, talked about this thing. And I've been so like rolling my eyes like, ugh, really? And then until I got it, like I've been getting it now, like really getting it.
Yeah.
And it's just something different. Like when you accept it, you choose it, and then you become it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to feel it, because sometimes we say these statements. I'm like, I read Louise Hay and Cheryl Richardson book, and I forgot the title. I'm spacing out on it, but I'm sure John is going to find it in a second, the way I know him, and put it up there on the screen. And Cheryl Richardson talks about her experience of doing these I am affirmations that Louise Hay has been talking for so long.
Yeah,
and the mirror work, looking in the mirror saying, I am beautiful, I love myself. And she was going, who am I kidding? I'm not beautiful. I don't love myself. She was literally saying, I'm lying to my mirror image. And then she kept persisting and saying it to herself every single day. I love myself. I am beautiful. I am worthy of being loved. And she said it took a few weeks where she was like, literally, what I'm talking about over here, and this is like really weird, and this is like super and then something shifted within her, and she's been doing these affirmations of I love myself, I am, or what you just so beautifully expressed, I am who I am this. And she's like, and now it's kind of, if I don't do it in the morning, I am missing something. And it really goes into a deeper understanding. Because I feel like our unconscious mind, as we know, is between 88 to 94%. And in that unconscious mind sit our belief systems from all these different lifetimes we live, our epigenetics, everything that we get from our ancestors imprinted in our DNA, and whatever we experience since our conception, what we experience in womb stages, early childhood stages. And it's that 88%. Because consciously we believe like I am totally worthy of having the best life and having love and having abundance, but that unconscious 88 to 95% is preventing that. So especially that last bit where you had us close our eyes and really feel it. It's really going to help us override, kind of like a computer program, override what's programmed for so many lifetimes and lineages.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like I rolled my eyes, like I was sharing with you about the I am statement. And even though truly I come from a very rich, prayerful, spiritual culture, the Sikhs are very beautiful in their prayers. And I grew up with these beautiful prayers. And I grew up praying and saying, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And the funny thing is, I said, I just want to be happy. I was constantly chasing the want of the happiness. Until, and this is the beautiful thing about children. And this is, when I was a child, I had a pretty traumatic upbringing. I just did not feel like I fit in. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I felt like an alien. This is not my family. This is not my life. This is not what I meant to, So being brought up in that, I was constantly like, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I switched it, like the child brain just freaking knows, switched it to, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. And I'll tell you, the memories of my cousins and my family of me growing up was that I was laughing all the time, which is amazing because as I remember the pain and like the hurt that I had experienced also, so anyway, I just want to say, like, it works. It really, it really works.
And I love that conscious language that you just brought up to really be conscious of how you're saying something, though you're not chasing something.
Yeah.
But bring it into the here and now.
Well, here's the thing, is like we are constantly thinking that if we get the thing, we're going to be happy or we're going to be peaceful or we're going to be. Yes. And I mean, I know many people in the industry that we are in the health and wellness, that are chasing still, right? They're chasing the fame. They're chasing the celebrity status. They're chasing the money. They're chasing the perfect picture. And there's no perfect picture. It is who you are right now. It's who you choose right now to be.
Yeah.
And you can seriously, like that, choose it.
I love that.
Yeah, it really is. It really is powerful when we get that. And that's seriously what I've been feeling like is happening for all of us here. So I'm not speaking just for myself going through this. I feel like it's the collective consciousness that we are all feeling it. We are all connected. Yeah.
And I'm just going back. I just reread one of your recent newsletters. So I'm going to read a quote that I thought was absolutely beautiful.
I'm impressed by your research.
I do. This happened to us for many experiences in our life, and we don't know. We've made up a story that is now causing our perception to be a certain way. I had to shift my own perceptions. I had beliefs that were causing my reality. Can we talk a little bit more about that?
Can you remind me what email that was?
The last one or the one before where you talked about the choice, the way we are creating our reality. It's by our choices.
Yes.
And how
it's by our perception,
by our perception
and choices.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you want to know about that? Because it really is such a statement of...
Yeah. Let me just ask about your own journey. That what kind of gave you that awareness? Or was it a specific experience? Was it a learning that came over time that inspired you to go like, oh my goodness, I am really creating my own reality. And this is the changes that I am choosing to make in order to create the best reality possible. What was that journey for you? What was that... the light bulb going on.
Well, actually, okay, that's great. Thank you for clarifying that, because that I'll use the same story I believe I shared in that particular email. The email was the subject was, "Are you a burden?" And what I was speaking to was like, do you feel like you're a burden when you ask someone for help? Do you feel like your time is not of value like the rest of the people? Do you feel afraid? And I will share my story, but I wanted to give you some context of like what I was speaking to is, do you feel afraid to pick up the phone because the other person you think that hasn't picked up the phone, and like you don't want to call them because you think that you're the burden? So I had this particular perception. I had a story that I shared in that particular email. It was like when I was a little girl, my baby sister, who's 2 years younger than me, and I were playing outside. And then the neighborhood older girls came and wanted to play with us. And they took us to this field nearby with this rickety house on it. And it was like a little, we called it the haunted house. And so they started pulling away from me and pulling my sister away to go and play elsewhere. And I was like, trying to catch up with them. And they turned around and they just said, "We don't want to play with you. We only want to play with Jamie," is her name. And I was just like shocked. And, I think I was like 7 or 6 at the time, like really young. And so right away I made up a story. And this is what happens to all of us. Something happens that traumatizes us. We have emotion. We make up a story in that moment, which creates a perception. So then my perception was, I'm not wanted and I'm not loved. Oh, actually, oh my God, wait. That actually comes from, so I shared another story. That's what I'm just remembering right now. So another story on that is like I was born, you know, I'm not gonna share that one. Never mind. So I'll just stick with that one. But anyway, so I made up a story, and so the rest of my life, I continue to keep that perception. So when I just didn't believe that people wanted to play with me or to be with me. So imagine where it would show up, especially in relationships, friendships, and romantic and otherwise. I would be like, oh, I have such anxiety. Like, if they wouldn't call me or if they didn't text or like whatever, it would be like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I'm going to die. And it is that feeling because when you're a child, you don't know that you're not going to die. So that perception runs deep with certain experiences. But here's the thing now, as an adult, you can integrate that little child. And the way to do that is you find where in your body. So like for me, that anxiety of like, oh my God, I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to be wanted. You know, it's right in my upper chest. So I take my hand there and I just remind myself, oh, right, it's okay. It's okay, right? You forgot because you didn't know. Like you speak to that child like you would speak to a child. And oh, right, it's okay now because I have you. Oh, and you speak to that child sweetly like a child. And what happens when you do that is it brings you into the integration of your adult self. So the little girl is not like in fear and anxiety anymore. She's like, oh, okay, I can relax. Oh, okay, I don't need to warn anybody. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, got it. So then over time, I mean, the anxiety never changes, or not the anxiety, but the like reaction won't change, but your perception will catch it. Like you will catch it faster, and you'll be able to have quicker times of like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So it will change. It will change that quick awareness and your response to it. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Yes.
Yeah.
And to just have that awareness when we're how we're showing up with other people or how we're reacting to other people, how they're showing up for us, to really look at, is that an old pattern that I'm running from when I was 7 years old and they wanted my sister more than they wanted me? And to look at that without judgment, I think, and to look even how we're showing up now and we're going like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling anxious about that, or I'm reacting with even pain or resentment or fear, or whatever emotion is becoming triggered through that. And to not judge ourselves, but go in and say, I'm going to love myself through it anyway. And to go into a place of self-love, because I believe that's what it's all about. Even the little girl, the 7-year-old at that time, it's the feeling of not being loved. And when we show up for ourselves with self-love, we override the experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And they get softer and softer. And what we truly all want is connection. So we just look for those things that are in the way of connection. Right? So
absolutely.
Anxiety is in the way of connection because it brings up fear and then disconnect. So when you can find those places and then come back to connection with yourself, you will have deep connection with other people.
Yes. And it's so beautiful. We're actually recording this during a Venus retrograde. I was going to say Mercury, but it's a Venus retrograde that we're doing this. And Venus is it's a planet of love. It's the goddess of love in mythology. And the retrograde, and I feel this retrograde is really a bit intense. But what I'm also finding is when challenges are showing up during this retrograde, I'm being asked to step it up.
Yes.
Because in the past, a challenge might have shown up. I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with this, or I'll deal with it later, or oh my gosh, this is so intense. And what is retrograde? And I want to get your opinion on how you've been experiencing it in a moment. But how this retrograde has really shown up in my life is like owning my own worth and loving myself through every single challenge that has shown up. I'm like, wow, this is so different than I used to react in the past. I'm supposed to love myself through it and not sit in front of the TV and numb myself out for about 90 minutes watching a movie. But really go into, okay, it's okay. Have you felt like that too?
You know what I've been feeling in this retrograde is actually, I'm not sure if it's opposite of what you're feeling, but but I've been feeling deeper connection with my soulmates in my life. Like I've got some strong ass sisters in my life. Sorry, I'm not sure if I can say ass, but that's okay.
We want to do like a little beep.
Beep it out. But no, I do have some great sisters, and I feel like we've been really connecting with each other on levels that I haven't been feeling. Also with my clients, the dialing in of their true like clearing of their wounds and taking them there is like seriously fast right now.
Wow.
It is like, boom. It's like I'm like a shaman, a Venus retrograde shaman that's in like some magic is happening right now. And then romantically, I feel like my heart is opening deeply right now. Like, it just feels so blessed. I'm not going to give any details, but I will say.
We'll do it later.
Yeah, girlfriend. I will say that I have never felt like I was seen in this way before, and I'm seeing in a whole new way. So thank you, Venus. My teacher calls it Venus penis.
Anyway, that's a new one.
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and it feels like, I keep saying we're living in the age of illumination. And how it's showing up for us, it's, oh yeah, this is what's working in my life and this is what isn't. And to really look at what is no longer working and
that's a good one.
Shift it.
Yep.
To shift either our perception about it, to shift our imprint, our wounding about it, or to shift the situation. And I am feeling, and I'm seeing it around me too, where if we don't take the step, the universe is literally going like, I'm going to push it. I gave you like little warning signs and you weren't listening, and I gave you a lot of warning signs. Okay, now I'm going to push you. And I feel like that is really what's happening right now.
You are so right.
You feel that, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So that I am actually experiencing on a major level. Like, so whereas before I would feel a sister in need and just like send her a quick little text or a little like kiss, I get on the phone with her. So there's like this calling that's happening right now to take it another step further, you know, to jump over the hurdle of the disconnect or jump over the hurdle of like, oh, I shouldn't, I don't have time, or I don't have this. It's like grab the phone and connect. And then the things that are coming up that are in the way, like you were saying, are showing up so that you can, I call it just like ninja-ing. Like we ninja those things now. And I think that that's what Venus retrograde right now is giving us the opportunity to really like, whoosh, 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 you know, like, whoosh, let me just get past that one. Let me, oh, I'm not feeling loved right now. Oh my God, he didn't text me. Oh, okay, I'm just going to relax into that.
Yeah, I love myself.
I love myself anyway. If he never calls me again, if he never texted me again, I love myself, and I'm here, and I'm safe. Yeah, I'm here, and I'm safe.
That.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
it's really stepping it up in a big way, right?
Yeah. And I think for, you know, speaking to us women leaders out there, or women that do want to step into their leadership, it is time for us to take care of ourselves on a whole other level. Like, let me share with you a very, very dear girlfriend of mine who is in the public eye, really was giving and giving and giving and giving, and she just recently committed suicide.
Oh my goodness.
And she's a huge figure in our community, and to have witnessed that she wasn't giving to herself, like the healing, then processing, and the clearing that she needed for herself to then show up for the world. And it's not about doing it and then you, like, it's all done and then you show up. It's doing it simultaneously, no matter how much notoriety you get, no matter what invite you get, no matter what show you're on. No matter what email you write and then get response, it's like you do your work every single day. I almost said the F word, but I won't. But like that's how much impact I want you to hear. Like the F word, the F bomb. That is what we need right now, is to show up for ourselves and ourselves, so that we are in full radiance and glow and power and empowerment. And I call it enlightenment. Yeah. It's not about enlightenment and you go sit on a hill and you're all hunky-dory for the rest of your life. It's like you bring in light every single day. So that light bounces through you, radiates into the world to every being that you're touching.
That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's powerful.
But it's true, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not about getting to some like status, because that chase itself is suffering. That chase is not going to bring you to peace. What is going to bring you to peace and love is you taking that into your spiritual practice, you bringing balance into your life, you being in full alignment with your higher self, your true self, and then your purpose in the world as well. Yes. Right? It's not either or.
Yes.
It is both. It's both and. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. It's again that divine feminine masculine, no matter if it's on the outside or within ourselves, the balance of the giving and receiving, coming from a full cup. Instead of from a half empty cup, and then keep emptying it until we're so depleted we cannot give anymore. And changing that mentality that I feel is so ingrained into our consciousness of giving as the martyr, and having that martyr mentality as one of the biggest virtues. And I think what you are doing, thank you for that, for empowering the women and the man.
The woman.
To claiming or to shifting out of that suffering and sacrifice and martyr attitude and creating a new virtue that is self-love, self-respect, self-care, self-nurturing. Thank you for doing all that.
Yeah, and women, I really want you to hear that. It's like it's time. It's time for us to not give, fall down. It is time for us to give and receive. To give and receive from ourselves, to each other, and to be in that receptive flow. Like the feminine, actually the true feminine divine is receptivity. And that receptivity allows us to be in our full state, and all we need to do is be in that full state.
I love that.
There's like nothing else to do. There's actually nothing else to do.
It's that simple.
It really is.
Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I love this conversation. And before, I know we have to wrap it up in a moment over here. I'm just looking at the time. But for anyone, you're doing so many amazing things. I'm like, honestly, every time I get a newsletter or I look at your website, there's something new that you're doing. So you have amazing yoga DVDs that are available through your website. And everybody who's listening and watching, you see the website.
Yeah, dance fitness DVDs and yoga DVDs, totally. Yeah.
And then you have apps with yoga, right?
Yes.
And you're teaching workshops and coaching. So where can our audience members find you? Tell us a little bit about what you're up to and where to find you and what's happening in Hemalaya's life.
Thank you. Well, I have, you could go to Hemalayaa.com. I'm sure you're going to have it up there. Okay, great. I don't need to spell it out. It is a little tricky spelling. So, but Hemalayaa.com will take you to, I've got ready-made do-it-yourself courses. One is called the Enlightened Lifestyle Program. And that is where it's an 8-week course. It's a do-it-yourself, really dive into the journey of your life. Find those places where you have been repressed or holding back, and we reset. I call it hitting the reset button, and then you reset, and then you go into then creating what you want in your life, and then stepping into it. So that's that. And then I also do privates. I have a very small roster of privates. I only take on a few clients at a time so I can hold a container for them, so that we have full access to everything we need to dive in each individual for those. And those you can also find on my website. And I offer like a discovery call first, so we could jump on the phone and have a little time together, a half an hour, 45 minutes, to really dive in to see where in your life that you want to be empowered and how I can serve you.
Perfect. Absolutely. So everybody go to Hemalayaa.com, check her out, sign up for a newsletter. And
2 A's at the end, right?
With 2 A's, yes.
Because of Himalaya.
And be inspired. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. It was such an honor to have you on my show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing in the world. Thank you for your presence, for your light, and for your love.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you. And before we wrap up over here, we want to hear how you're taking care of yourself. How has that conversation inspired you to take care of yourself? How are you choosing to create more love, more nurturing in your life? Are there any self-care routine you're choosing to integrate? Any inspiration you're having? Put it down on our chat box on the Facebook Live page, or go to Kristie Reeves TV, and it will have the video, and leave us your comments. And we will see you next week at 3 p.m. Hold on, don't go away yet, because there's something really amazing I want to share with you. We are doing a swag bag contest during the months of May and June. So what does that mean? As you may know, the show also lives as a podcast on iTunes. So what we would like for you to do is head on over to iTunes, find the Rebel Hearts podcast, and leave us a review for today's show, or any of the shows that are already up there, or any of the shows that are going to be up there. And for each review, your name will be entered into our swag bag contest. And we will draw the winner of the contest on our live show on July 5th. And we have some amazing sponsors for the swag bag contest. We have Bulletproof, we have Coffee, and a whole bunch of other ones that we're going to announce over the next few weeks. And every single product that is included in that swag bag is absolutely aligned with the Kristie values, which means it's eco-friendly, it's organic, it's fair trade, the companies all are really, really high vibes. So you really want to get your name into the contest, get the reviews done, and participate in it. And we have 10 bags to give away. So, as I said, hop on over to iTunes, leave us a review, and enter for a chance to win one of our amazing swag bags. See you next week, and remember to rebel on.